This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
You are listening to Copy Chief Radio. Welcome back to another edition. Here is the Copy Chief himself, Mr. Kevin Rogers.
Thank you. Good to be back with you, Jonathan. How you feeling today?
I am feeling awesome and glad to be here, the fly on the wall, listening in on smart people talking.
You're pretty smart yourself. I watch your Snapchats. You're laying down the daily wisdom. Are you enjoying the Snapchat?
I'll tell you what the trouble with Snapchat is, that you're one of the people that told me I needed to get on there and got me hooked, and then you're no longer there. What gives?
You know what, man? I don't know what happened. I fell out of rhythm with it, and then I got busy, and I'm like, seriously? Like, I need to add this to my day, like thinking about, what to contribute to the Snap world. What I like about it, I like the personal contact. I love just snapping you personally, going back and forth. I think it's the best new voicemail there is.
Yeah.
But as far as me, like planning like a Snap story every day on the level of someone like Joel Comm or something, I don't know if I could see that actually happening.
Yeah, well, you're on 3 different podcast shows. You got the Copy Chief community, and you're a busy dude. I get it.
Spread out. But I do love the format, and I love seeing you in there. So, well, that's what I'm like, man. I get people hooked, and I'm like, now you kids run and play with it. Come back and tell me how it worked.
Nice.
Okay, cool. So this is gonna be a great show, man. Today we're gonna talk about taglines, right? This is an interesting thing. Because you could say, well, how important is a tagline? But I would say it's damn important. And it's one of the most common things that people bring up. And it is one of the most toiled after pieces of copy you could ever have to write. It's really hard to come up with a good tagline. And there's a lot of pressure on it because you figure, this is going to be everywhere. If you use it to its full potential, it's going to be in print. It might be on, your website. And it's kind of, once you run with, you could change it over time. Big corporations do it all the time. But you're really kind of saddled with a tagline if you come up with it.
Yeah.
Jonathan, is there a tagline for Podcast Factory, like an official tagline?
I am working with Ross on some USP stuff where I figured the tagline will come from. But the other day I was at a young executives group at the Citrus Club, and I'm sitting there and these people are just talking and droning on about their stuff. And I'm like, how can I say what I need to say quickly? So on spur of the moment, I came up with, hi, producer, or I said, Jonathan Rivera here, and I help leaders spread their ideas. Thank you very much. So that's my new tagline for the minute. I got 2 leads out of it.
Very nice.
Like a virus?
Yeah, exactly. The idea virus.
Spreading. So much can be done with spreading. Well, that lovely voice you hear is my friend Angie Colee. Angie is super smart marketer, copywriter, very active member of the Copy Chief Forum. Angie, thanks for coming on and helping us figure out taglines today.
Thank you, Kev. Man, flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
You guys are pretty damn smart yourselves. So
it's my number one tool. So you tell us a little about, because you're dealing with this stuff on a high level all the time. You're actually an agency copywriter.
I'm an in-house copywriter for a retail company. So slightly different from agency, but still pretty high pressure, moving all the time. And yeah, I mean, taglines, we come up with them all the time. There'll be different in-store campaigns that are running, different digital campaigns that are running. And we actually once had an incident where we hadn't cleared a tagline with legal. Everybody just kind of signed off on it and said it sounds good, and we got a cease and desist.
Yikes.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a whole lot riding on a good tagline, including a potential lawsuit.
Now, What ruffled feathers on that one? Can you talk about it?
Well, I am a big fan of alliteration and of rhyming. So we had a big summer blowout with grills. We're a home improvement store, and I had named it the Thrill of the Grill. Being kind of cheeky.
Yeah.
That is apparently owned by Home Depot, who did not like that we were using that.
No kidding.
So a lot goes into it, including the trademark clearance and the legal search.
Thrill of the Grill. I'm just gonna get T-shirts made and wear them to Home Depot. Go, what's up? What do you want? What? Something you want to say to me? What? It's hilarious. All right.
Hey, I take it as good news. They consider us a threat if they're sending us cease and desist.
I think that's always good news. All right, so talk about what makes a good tagline, Angie.
Well, it usually has to be fairly short, with a few notable exceptions. Memorable is really good, and clarity is something that I see a lot of people struggle with. And trying to come up with something that is short and snappy, a lot of people forget to say what business they're in or what makes them really special. And so if you have kind of those magic ingredients there, you can usually come up with something that people will remember and automatically associate with you. I mean, one that I have loved for years is Saddleback Leathers. They'll fight over it when you're dead.
Yeah, that's a great
one. They don't immediately say what they do and who they are, but that curiosity factor is enough to get people to look into it. And once you have dug into the brand, you really, really you remember that always. It sticks with you.
Yeah, that's a great point. I had the privilege to interview Dave Munson from Saddleback Leather, and I asked him about the tagline, and I thought it might have been user driven or something, right? But it is actually something he's kind of sat and thought about and came up with. And just much more interesting that, you could, because you think about all the ways you could say that in a less interesting way, right? Legacy leather, or, leave your legend
I like
behind
the voice.
in leather, like that's what people.
It'll last for years.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. Just totally ignorable. But you could put, they'll fight over it when you're dead on, like anything. Like, this is say I'm sitting I could see the bar across the street. And if that was on a beer coaster, there's no way I could not flip it over and see who's this brand, right? Or you could see it on a wall or, on a bus, and you go, wow, what does that mean? What would they fight over when I'm dead? So it's just got a lot of inherent curiosity and gravitas to it. And in his case, it's totally perfect for the brand, like you said, because they're all about quality and standing out for the attention to quality and the value they put in every bag. So great example. Okay, let's talk about some bad taglines. How do we know when we're writing something bad here?
Well, those tend to be pretty, as I mentioned before, like generic. You don't really allude to the business that you're in or discuss it at all. They're kind of jargony and forgettable, or they're really just unnecessarily long and complicated. One of my favorites to toss out there is this. This is actually a big company. I'll see if you can guess who came up with this one. Making technology work for you.
Well, it could be anybody. Would it be like IBM or something?
No, it's actually Best Buy.
What?
Wow.
They did that one back in 2012, and obviously that didn't really gain any traction. It's not really out there. But, I mean, that happens a lot where I can see where they're going. They're trying to incorporate the end user. They're trying to make you feel like part of the brand. Verizon did that a while back with We Never Stop Working for You. But both of those are kind of, if you take the brand off of that, who is it really? I mean, it could really be anybody in technology.
Right.
We Never Stop Working for You could be any business, period. So it's really kind of crucial to make sure that you're not forgetting to put yourself in there and what you do for people.
Yeah, they'd be better off saying, like, we have that wire you need. Best
Nice.
Oh, and some CDs.
At this point, they'd be.
They'd be better off. And you'll leave with a TV you didn't intend to buy, But
it'd be better changing their tagline to "We price match Amazon."
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That is a great. I've done that. I've been standing there, and it's funny. I didn't know they price matched Amazon until I was in the exact situation. Why they do that is the reason I was going to go to Best Buy instead of Amazon was I needed it that day, right? And so I'm standing there, and while I'm waiting for one of those blue shirts to get to me, I just look for it on Amazon and telling the guy, well, it's a bummer because it's like, I think it was like almost like $50. It was like a $50 difference. I'm like, it's $50 less on Amazon, but I really need it today. And the guy's like, oh no, we price match. And I was like, no way. And now I found out Target does that, and that's awesome. So that Amazon app is your best friend.
Yeah, as long as it's sold by Amazon itself and not one of their vendors, they'll price match. It's really, really cool.
Very cool. Yeah, that should be their slogan. We price match Amazon. Yeah, and it's interesting. You bring up Verizon. I remember the most memorable thing Verizon did was, the "Can you hear me now" commercial. Was that them or was that?
Yep.
That was Verizon, right?
Yep. Can you hear me now? Good.
Yeah. And was that? Did they ever use a version of that as a tagline? Because that wouldn't actually make a good tagline. It works in reverse as a tagline.
They actually did use that as a tagline for a while, and other brands have kind of used. I think that started as a commercial and became a tagline rather than being developed as a tagline that became a commercial. But that's speculating. It sounds like a commercial that gained a lot of traction, and they just started kind of using it.
Right.
Budweiser did that with "What's Up?"
Right.
If you're ancient like me and can remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. That's hilarious. What's up? Wasabi. It just got silly. And then what's the most ubiquitous one like you ever see it? The freaking got milk thing, like won't go away. To this day. And what's always funny to me is like, all right, I can. There's a great movie, by the way. You've probably seen it, Angie, called what's it called? Art and Copy. Have you seen that movie?
No, actually, I haven't.
Yeah, you'll love it. Art and Copy. Everybody should watch it. It's about more of like big brand, advertising, and they talk with some of the legend and review some of the legendary campaigns. In fact, that Budweiser Was Up campaign is in there, and they talk a lot about the Got Milk campaign. What it did for the milk industry was unbelievable. But it's got to be the most ripped off, repeated, honored slogan ever. And it's always kind of annoyed me because it was immediately overdone, got abs, got, everything you can think of. But all the time I see people, there's a rule here. And this is, I guess, a writing lesson. It's 2 syllables, got milk, ? Right. But I see people using it all the time with, longer words, got insurance, got got tires. I mean, obviously you have tires or you don't, but got windshield. I don't know. None of those work. I just want to grab people trying to use that and go, don't you see? It's not the same. It doesn't mean the same at all. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you got Jesus. Totally. That was a good one with more than one syllable. That's a pretty good one. Got condoms. That's a good one.
Yeah, true. Something that you need, I think.
Yeah, something handy. We should come up with a got for Podcast Factory. Got, what would it be? Got wisdom. Got chops. Got. True.
I every time I think of this podcast, it's all up in your ear holes always pops up. It's never gonna die.
No, that's funny. Our slogan.
It's never gonna die.
All up in your ear hole. Yeah, Copy Chief Radio.
Yep.
So, and then you talk about, Angie, that there are anomalies to the rules of good and bad taglines. What are some of those?
Well, I mean, obviously, if you can outspend the little guys, we're talking big agencies, usually insurance, but, everybody could probably recite word for word Geico's tagline, right? 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. That's
it. Yeah,
been
right.
repeated so many times with so many characters that it just kind of, it's always going to be Geico. You always hear it. And the same thing with that goofy little jingle. We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.
Right. Yeah. Jingle. What about jingles? I mean, should that be a goal of, is it, I guess that's a strategy choice, right? We're going to create a jingle and try to get it in everybody's brain. And that obviously takes a lot of repetition. You got to have a budget to put it. You could do it locally, but you'd have to have it on radio for a long time to make it stick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these guys definitely have the big ad spends. They're pursuing both brand awareness and recognition, in addition to actually getting people to sign up. That's usually what they're doing.
Interesting. How do you? So you work for a big retailer. You guys are pumping out all kinds of ads. How do you measure in your company?
Well, we're still trying to get a very old school advertising mentality of, I can't remember who said the quote. Like, I know that half of my advertising budget is wasted, but I don't know which half.
Right.
So we still work with some kind of old school Madison Avenue style that, like, just put it out there and see if it works. Well, what defines working? I don't know. Let's just put it out.
Interesting.
But right now we are tracking our emails and growing our email list. And we track a lot of our ROP, which is run of print. So any magazine ads that we place, any newspaper ads that we place, we'll usually have a barcode with an offer to get somebody to come in. And that's pretty much the extent of our tracking right now. But we're trying to get a little bit more thorough methods in.
Yeah, I love the irony of they call unmeasured marketing is basically all the direct response stuff, like the stuff you can actually track, but they were already calling the other stuff that you can't track measured. So they needed a different word. So they go, we'll just call it unmeasured. It's like ridiculous. But it's still difficult to track, big ads and, this kind of branding and stuff. But, you said like Geico, that's pretty cool. If you can get your USP as the tagline to stick like that,
Yeah.
That's super valuable.
Yeah. A lot of repetition, and the cool thing that they've done with that is on its own, without all of the context, it's pretty snoozeworthy, right? But they've managed to attach it with their brand voice and their kind of goofiness to all these different characters. The caveman, the Geico lizard, all of these. Do you remember the stack of money with eyes on it?
Yeah, that was
I still remember all that.
They lost me with that one. I'm just going, all right, we've jumped the shark here. I'll give you the gecko. The gecko has a funny accent, the caveman, but that almost seemed like a dare, like somebody dared them. Like somebody lost, like one of the principals of the company lost a bet, and all right, you got to run the stack of money with eyeballs thing. That could not make sense.
It does seem kind of weird. But that's one of the things too about these ideas. You never know what will work. So it's like they seem to thrive on the however crazy it is. If it seems like it will fail, let's just throw it out there anyway and see what happens.
Yeah.
And the cavemen had their own show for a little while. That was really weird.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing is that give them credit. They're bold enough to try bizarre stuff, and sometimes it connects and it's huge. You almost can't. It's like a viral video. You almost can't predict it. There's no real formula for it. So, Angie, all right, I'm not going to ask you to sing, but I love that you're a blues singer. I won't make you sing, but talk to me about being in the band real quick. Someone who understands music and has music in them. I think that's a real advantage as a copywriter. We were talking on a recent episode about headlines and how they have to be lyrical. You need to be able to sing them. You feel like that gives you an advantage, having a lyrical ear?
I think so, because when I'm reading something I wrote in my head, the flow always sticks out to me. If I have a really awkward wording, and it helps to read it out loud if you're not a musician, but I can usually kind of, the balance of choppy sentences versus, I could probably use a different word here to make this read a little bit better. I do think that the musicianship helps, because there's a lot of songs that if you sing them really fast, you start tripping up over words, and people are moving at lightning speed, so it has to be gettable, even if they're scanning.
Yeah, great point. Cool. Angie, thanks for being with us. This was a fun episode. Lots of great insights, and we'll do it again soon.
Awesome. I would love that.
All right.
So that is a wrap for Copy Chief Radio. We will be back in your heads next week.
All up in your earbuds.
I wanted to say it so bad. You've been listening to Copy Chief Radio. Thank you for tuning in. If you're digging what we are laying down for you, then your next step is to go over to iTunes, type in Copy Chief Radio into the search bar, and when you find the show, subscribe. We will be back in your earbuds next week.
This is the podcastfactory.com.